Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. I am Doug Sashry, and as always, I'm joined by
Rob Mendiola.
Yeah, and we're here today on a rainy Monday and trying to get a little podcasting done. And we've delved into music, of course, and again and again, and we did some streaming talk, some podcast
product talk.
Yeah, that's right, some product talk. But today we're going into and I have somebody else too, but this is the guy I wanted first. I really like him, and we're going to go into the comedy field and with Josh, and I want to say Lidawer, but I'm pronouncing it wrong. So Josh, tell me the correct pronunciation of your name.
Lidawer.
Wait, say that again.
Lidawer.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Now, when I first met him, I thought he was Gene Shalit's son, but yeah, and I don't know if Rob's even going to catch that. He's just kind of like blinking at me like I'm an idiot, which he's not far off sometimes. But I met him and he reminded me of somebody because of his mustache and his hair, and I was like, well, his hair's not that crazy, but no, and he's a really good guy. I was lucky to meet him, and welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, Doug.
So what are you doing now, man? Well, before I guess we get to all that, you came out of Nebraska, right?
Well, I grew up in Chicago, and then I lived in Nebraska for a few years. Then I live in Las Vegas, though. So
that's right. Yeah, he's got a very mysterious past.
Yeah,
I'm running from something.
Yeah, he's on the run.
That's right.
Totally.
Did somebody in your family come pick you up? After a college break, did you force student? Oh, God,
he had bodies to bury, so he went to Vegas.
Yeah. No, he. That's a good place to go if you want to do that. Yeah.
That's where he buried him.
Yeah, they. So how long have you been in Vegas?
2 years now.
Oh man, how are you liking it? As far as how's the cost of living there, man?
It is not bad. People here are always complaining that it's been going up because I think Vegas, the same thing has been happening as to like Austin, where the population has like tripled since the beginning of COVID with all the Californians moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. It's a little more expensive than Nebraska, but it's nothing compared to a Chicago or probably a Houston or real cities.
Yeah, I mean Houston's not that bad, I mean, compared to
it's a little high.
Yeah. We keep escaping. We keep going counties over again, So
yeah, I say that, but I know you live like an hour outside the city there, so
yeah, I was a little bit closer, but until 21, and then I moved. But yeah, I was curious. How's the rain out there, man? By the way, in Vegas, is Lake Mead filling up again?
The government decided to fill it back up, I think, but it's not really raining more.
Yeah, that's right.
It's 100 degrees and sunny right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not,
and it hasn't rained yet this year.
Oh wow.
That's right. I forgot to say that they get their liquid from elsewhere. Yeah. So it comes down the Colorado River. Yeah, no. Yeah, I knew it was coming from the drain. I don't know even why I said rain, because that doesn't really exist. Yeah.
So we do have a monsoon season, which I found out the hard way after moving here.
Yeah.
I drive Uber and DoorDash, and I knew about flash floods, but I didn't really know how quick they were. And then last year I was out driving and suddenly it started thunderstorming, and next thing I knew there was just several feet of water standing in the roads everywhere.
Oh man.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of like West Texas. There's all these, you pass these dry creek and riverbeds, there's nothing there. But when the rain comes, that's what happens. Yeah, and I would imagine that would be the case out there. Yeah.
Mother Nature can be incredible.
Yeah. But compared to you guys are right on the Gulf, and I grew up right off of Lake Michigan, so there has to be a very serious amount of rain around there for actual flash flooding to happen.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there's a built-in drainage system everywhere. So
yeah, people don't really expect that, when you say flash flood, they think, well, I have time. No. Flash flood means from 1 inch to about 13 or 14 inches in about 5 minutes. So it can be very fast, and that's when your car gets pushed to the side, and it's very dangerous. So yeah, it's not good to do.
Yeah, exactly. I just parked and prayed that I wouldn't wash away anywhere.
That's right.
So.
But we're here to talk about your comedy career.
Comedy, yeah.
So where did you get the itch for comedy, man?
I feel like I always had it, and then, pretty cliche, but like when COVID hit, it was a lot of time to myself and like rethinking what I wanted to do with my life. I was in graduate school, and I had quit graduate school around the time that COVID started. And so I was stuck in an apartment alone for like a year in Lincoln, Nebraska, and didn't know what I wanted to do. So I started writing jokes and thinking, maybe when things reopen, I'll try stand-up. So I moved out here to Las Vegas because there's not any stand-up in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a good joke. That's a funny joke, man. Way to go. Yeah, but no, that's a ballsy move, man, to get up there on stage and there's payoff bets on some of the stations I listen to. They've had them before where I want to say it's like 5 minutes, and dude, 5 minutes is an eternity.
It is.
In a quiet room if you're telling jokes,
It is.
And
and that's the funniest thing. People don't always get that because people compare it with music usually. And that's where there's like little differences. Like a 5-minute music set might be one song.
Right.
That's right.
Well, if someone just says, go do 5 minutes right now, like you have to kind of have something planned out, like a series of where to go from where.
That's
like
a lot of words in 5 minutes, really. It
is. And another thing too is like with music, I mean, even if you're butchering the hell out of it, like if I'm playing, nobody can. I mean, it's so loud that you really can't get, the feel of the room as much as immediately you can get it, I guess, as a comedian. It's yeah. I can imagine that would be, cricket's a kind of a scary thing, but you gotta, man, that's definitely a thing where that you're going to fall on your face plenty of times, that you got to keep working your craft.
Yeah, and I think, I'm relatively new to it. Like, I've only been doing it a couple of years now. But I do think that, like, the most valuable thing that people learn in their first year or so, just doing open mics, is how to bomb. Like, I think that that's the most important thing, is that if you get up there in front of a dead room and you tell a joke or two and no one laughs, learning not to let that get in your head.
Yeah.
And then just keep going and having confidence and learning how to make adjustments as opposed to just being like, oh my God, this sucks, I want to die.
Yeah.
But I mean, you really do just believe in you, no matter what, and that's that is a ballsy thing. But yeah, I mean, I guess that is a lot of open mics, man. Did you hit them as much as you can?
Yeah, I mean, I still do a bunch, but I would say like my first 6 months, I was probably doing 6 or 7 open mics a week. And that was after about 6 months, I started getting some book gigs here around town. And I got a job as a personal assistant to another comedian, and that helped me get more gigs too.
That's right.
And helped me learn a little quicker.
I think we had talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, it's the thing about it. I can remember, when HBO when I was first started watching HBO, I guess, it was Showtime, but then it was HBO, mainly, I guess in the 80s. And they had a lot of comedian specials, but they were also, when you talk about comedians, I know a lot of them, like Seinfeld and all of them, they would have, these comedy clubs, and they would, somebody would go up there for X amount of minutes, and they just one after another. And I guess that's just how they hit, how you hit your, it's just repetition, man, And
exactly. Like tonight I have a gig at a comedy club, but before that, I'm going to hit an open mic because that's the other thing is like, I'm not good enough where I can be working on, like, when I have a gig, it needs to be stuff that I've already perfected because I haven't been doing it that long. I don't know where to. So I still try to hit one open mic every night, even when I have gigs, stuff like that, because those are places that I don't have to worry about.
That's awesome.
Whether I'm going to bomb.
So that's where you kind of practicing more so, like maybe new
Yeah.
material. I got you. Okay, cool.
Now, what about the open mic? How long were you staying on open mic traditionally?
So most of them, at least around here in Las Vegas, are 5 minutes.
Okay,
That's what,
like 5-minute sets.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, some are. There's one that's 3, and then some are 7 or 10. If you go to like Los Angeles, it's much harder to get 5 or even it's 5 or longer minute sets. A lot of places charge you to go up at open mics in like LA. So there's just too many people trying to do stand up there. So they'll like charge you $5 and say you can do 3 minutes.
That's weird.
But yeah, here in general they're 5 minutes, and within Vegas there's probably 2 or 3 every night. So even if you weren't doing any like booked gigs or longer sets, you could still be getting 10 to 15 minutes of stage time every night.
That's good. I think
if you're willing to drive around.
Yeah, I think that's something that always needs to exist in Vegas. I think that there's such a rich history of all those performers years and years ago. You think of the Rat Pack and all these guys that ran with them, and a lot of comedians, and I think that always needs to be there. I think that always needs to be a part of it. In my head at least.
No, I completely agree. There's a bar right across the street from me, which has my favorite open mic every week. And it's the worst open mic in Las Vegas. Like everyone knows it's the worst comedy open mic.
But
you're lucky if people listen to it. If to your set, you might be unlucky because it might mean there's about to be a fight.
Oh my goodness!
But they have all these pictures of Frank Sinatra and everyone drinking there.
Oh God!
50 years ago.
Yeah, that's what.
At least if I get in a fight, Frank Sinatra probably got in a fight here too.
Hey, it's historic. I got a black eye in the same place. Yay! But yeah,
it was just a little old timey mob dive bar.
Yeah, God, man. Yeah, that's. I never thought about that, but yeah, that is a lot of from one place to the next to the next. Yeah, so like you said,
is that like the Rat Pack thing down there? Is that where the Rat Pack?
Yeah,
that was
thing. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
But that's the cool thing here is everywhere you go, there's a history of performance, even at the most local bars. Like almost every bar here is set up to have live performance every night. Whether music or comedy or karaoke or whatever, like they're all.
I mean, I guess it's cool because you kind of can see that what the possibilities are, from past performance there, so it kind of gives you that little bit of hope, that you're doing something cool.
A little bit of delusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as he left my house, he had to wash his brain of all the dad jokes I made while he was there, just to cleanse. Yeah.
So were you funny growing up as a kid?
Depends who you ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very subjective
I definitely thought so.
Yeah.
My teachers didn't think so.
Right. Yeah, I had that problem.
I remember a lot of instances of my teachers from like second grade on telling me that I'm not funny and I need to learn that quickly.
Yeah, they don't have appreciation for class clown.
No, not so much. Not so much.
They should definitely get over that.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to get out? You want to get out and go a little bit traveling like you did when I met you?
Yeah, I think that would be one of my ultimate goals. Would be to just kind of be on the road regularly and maybe have here as my home base. Mm-hmm. Because there's a good amount of major cities in driving distance, including obviously Los Angeles. But I don't know. A lot of people they want to be acting or be famous doing Netflix specials or something. To me, I think the ideal would just be driving town to town, performing at bars or little comedy clubs, and then just going to the next town, seeing everywhere.
Now with all the like streaming and like you mentioned Netflix and all that, there's so many different streaming services that have comedy. Is there more opportunity now to do like writing for comedy?
That's a good question. It's hard to figure out because a lot of comedians are still very, very proud that they write their own material. Obviously, there are some that don't, but I don't think any of them admit it.
So you become kind of a ghostwriter if you do that for a service.
Yeah, because I know of people who, they'll tell me that they sold a set to someone, and then but you could never possibly know if it's true anyway because they obviously have to sign all sorts of NDAs.
Okay, that's right.
That shouldn't be telling me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean,
it seems like you should still be able to get credit for it.
Hey, don't disappear into the desert tonight. By the way, yeah, no, but no, it's a. Well, Saturday Night Live has writers, and just like
it seems like
so for sketch comedy, I think there's a lot, and then I think that there's a lot of the weird thing now is with stuff like TikTok, and I don't know, there'll be famous TikTokers who they realize that the way that they can capitalize on their giant fan bases is to do comedy, but they don't really know how to do stand-up comedy. But obviously comedy clubs want them because if someone has, 2 million TikTok followers, of course they can sell out a 200-seat comedy club in Las Vegas.
Right.
So they go do that, but they don't know how to do stand-up, so they obviously just get
in front of people. That's right.
Stand-ups to write their stuff and teach them how to do it.
I got you.
Yeah, it's a big difference because, and it's such a weird immersion into our society now. We talked about this on an episode not too long ago, how they had the NFL draft, and in the later rounds they'd have a former player or somebody come and announce a pick. Well, they announced this guy to come. They introduce him as influencer. I'm like, what the hell is this? What kind
that's a real job.
Yeah, is that? Wait, what? Yeah, but
but it is.
That is a real thing. We can laugh.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
If someone has millions of followers on TikTok, that means that people are going to pay to go see them, even if they're not that funny or at stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people just know how to connect.
Providing value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
And then I also know comedians who got very successful on TikTok, but were already good comedians. And then the TikTok helps them make more money because stand-up doesn't always pay a lot too. So
that's the exposure thing.
Yeah, it's just kind of like the musician deal. Yeah, it's very much the
we play for exposure, and
that's
everybody
right.
hates that,
Yeah,
it's the what is that? What is the guy? What was that video game? The app they had a show about it recently. Remember they had that? It was a cash game, and what was that guy's name? Scott Rogowski. Was that it?
Oh yeah. I remember this.
I'm imagining
where it was on your phone and they'd split it was a trivia.
Yeah, it was a trivia game. You played for money. It did
HQ, I think.
HQ was the name of it. I'm assuming he was a comedian, or he is a comedian.
Yeah, I think so. He was just telling jokes between each.
Yeah, that's basically what he did. So I imagine that he would. That's got to be a thing too, because if you're doing that and you don't get any response from anybody too, and you're making it funny,
yeah,
just move to the next question. Shut the hell up, But that's at least you can't hear that, I guess. But no, that's.
I mean, Alex Trebek was the master of that. So
yeah, he was.
He would say some really funny things to a very dead audience.
Yeah, he did because he was always so serious, and people were like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, I think it was just because it was always unexpected, and he'd make some really subtle burns at the. We contestants.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We talked about this recently that, when I was growing up, Leslie Nielsen was always, if it was an old rerun, Leslie Nielsen was always the heavy, like the bad guy or the cattle rancher on Gunsmoke. You'd have him on for one episode or some other show. He was some very serious guy. So when I'm watching another movie preview, like in 80 or whenever it came out, I'm watching another movie, but the preview was for Airplane. I about died laughing. I was laughing so much when that preview came because I could not believe this was coming out of that guy's face. The jokes, and of course he turned his to where it became a joke itself. He was so much into it, but it really was initially just so shocking to see that comedy come out of that guy because he played the straight.
Well, then he's also sitting next to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, that's right.
People probably also didn't expect.
Yeah, that is right. They had a whole bunch of people in there. You like, is that guy really making a joke? Or like, Leave It to Beaver mom, was talking jive. And I was like, oh my god, just nothing that you expect. But no, yeah.
But Leslie Nielsen ended up sticking with comedic acting mostly after that, right?
Yeah, because even if
like
it
then
was,
there was Naked Gun and everything, just a bunch of
even if it was bad, it paid the bills. Just it's certain part that but people loved it.
People loved it.
Yeah. So,
but I can see I grew up knowing him as the funny, goofy old guy from a lot of movies,
right?
Yeah. See, and that's different.
And then so I could see how it would have been a lot more shocking.
It was extremely shocking because like I said, and mainly it wasn't shows it was old reruns that I would watch on a Saturday afternoon with my dad, and just I'd see them. But like I said, the first time it was like going in, you'd see the Pope make a joke, or twerk. You'd see the Pope start twerking, like what the, just shocking, So no, they. Wait, is twerking even a thing anymore? No, that's
I don't know. Probably.
but now how many? So you getting out? You said are you getting out? How often to do open mics now?
3
a week.
So I would say in general when I'm in town, which is most of the time, I have 2 or 3 regular gigs every week that are in general weekly. And then, so those are like hosting things.
That's what I was saying. You've been hosting.
And then, so those are hosting shows or mics. And then I usually get booked for 1 or 2 showcases a week. And then I try to do, on top of that, let's say probably 4 open mics a week.
It's pretty busy.
Yeah. So, Are you still friends with Chocolate Jesus, or have you?
I'm seeing him. He's starting a new show on Thursday that I'm hosting.
Really?
And he gave me the flyer this morning, and my name's spelled wrong.
Oh no!
That's who did that. No, that's terrible. I did see that.
I made fun of him for it on Facebook, and then I thought it was funny because he said, "Oh, my bad, I forgot the A." But it's like, man, my name is right there, and no, you didn't. You forgot several letters, actually.
Y'all broken bread together and traveled together for weeks. And granted, I mispronounced it, but come on, it's the bad's on him.
That's funny.
I just thought it was funny, and I love Aaron, and I love Chocolate Jesus, so I'm not trying to talk trash or anything. I think that they're hilarious, but the flyer was also ridiculous.
No, they came to my house and they stayed when they were touring, and with another friend of mine, and I remember him telling me the name of the group was called Chocolate Jesus, and I was like,
"Yeah, that's awesome."
Wait a minute, wait, what? And
is that okay? Is that illegal?
Is that okay? Yeah, am I going to be all right? Is my house going to get canceled? Right. But no, that's But we had a really good time. That's the one thing about meeting people in all these different fields, man. It's always an interesting story, and they all have been great people. I had the people that always, if somebody brings somebody in, like a Paragraph had brought them in, it's also always somebody that I trust. They know me, and they know what my ground rules are. And it's always been good people, So I really enjoyed it when y'all were in, and man,
and I think we all appreciated you letting us stay with you. So
anytime, man.
I've been sleeping in my car for 2 weeks before that. A chair, change. Look at me. I felt like, Borat at the beginning. He's like, look at me, I have a chair.
Yeah,
King of the castle.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we actually have an extra room now. We're one less person out of the house. So the oldest kid has moved on. So now we can handle more people.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm not kidding you. The day she told me that she found an apartment, I'm not joking. I picked up the football and I spiked it in the den.
Oh, my goodness.
I think she was just blinking and just shaking her head.
Yeah.
Poor dad. It's tough being my kid, but But
she knows usually she wasn't surprised from
no. Sadly, no. They like Laura and me have been married since October 1st last year, and it's already all those jokes that were funny for a while, they're already starting to wear off. So I'm on borrowed time now. But I was going to ask you, do you get out to any of the surrounding towns? You ever get to Reno, anything like that?
I haven't been to Reno, because that's it's around 7 or 8 hours driving from here, and that's just not as much there.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And I don't even know the Reno city.
Yeah, no, I have a Midwestern mindset, of where cities are, which is probably pretty similar to being from the Southeast.
You're in the same state.
I lived in Nebraska, but Midwestern emptiness is very different than here, Nevada.
Yeah, it is.
Where there's 2 cities in this whole state, and then it's all just federal-owned desert.
That's right. That's right.
And Air Force bases between them.
That's right. Don't go. Hey, don't. There's some places out there you shouldn't go and lick the sand. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that now. They might.
But I've been going to Phoenix. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
No, go ahead. No, just that's a good.
Yeah, so I've been going to Phoenix pretty regularly because my parents live there now.
Oh, cool.
I think it's the new South Florida for old Jews.
Yeah,
to move out to Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, basically. What about doesn't Lake Havasu kind of have a setup as well?
I think so. Yeah, because parts of Vegas and then the Phoenix area and then some other towns in Western Arizona, it just all seems to be for retired New Yorkers and Midwesterners.
Yeah,
it's just wanted to escape the cold, but didn't want to spend all the money to go to Florida. So.
Yeah, it's Western Florida. Yeah, that's right. Just not as crazy. I'm sorry, Florida friends, but yeah, no, it's
the weirdest thing here in Vegas because I don't think I know anyone from my high school who lives out here, but I know at least 8 or 9 sets of parents of people I went to high school who live out here.
Wow, that is crazy. I thought Houston, when I moved to Houston, was a transient city because everybody I met came from somewhere else. There's no doubt that Vegas is the people that you born and raised there. It's got to be very limited, as far as
they're all trying to get out.
I think I saw some stat that it's only 14% of residents of Nevada were born in the state of Nevada. So finding someone who lives here who was actually born here, because I think the other thing is people who were born here can't wait to get out.
Get out, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, that sounds right.
But that was before the Raiders got there. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, we're getting the A's now.
Yeah, that's right. You're getting baseball too, man. Hey, Vegas.
The Knights are about to win the Stanley Cup.
Boy, that's true.
Vegas is going to have their first real parade.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about any of that. Yeah, Vegas is an interesting city if you're talking about pro sports because you really have no. If it's truly transient, there's no long-term allegiance to, and you're gonna get a lot. Well, corporations, I'm sure, are gonna bring people in and bring them. That's where a lot of the seats are gonna be.
My understanding is the Golden Knights seem to have a really, really, really strong fan base here. Everyone loves the Golden Knights. They had very interesting timing with when they came to Vegas or when they started playing, because it was right after the shooting.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they also made the finals that year, so it was kind of brought the city together. But the Raiders, I don't know. It always seems like the Raiders were designed to just get people to fly in and stay at the hotels here to go to games. They want it to feel like an away game for their team.
Yeah, it's actually like every Sunday's a Mardi Gras. Come to town. Yeah, it's
yeah, exactly. So I feel like it's the same with the A's, and then they're going to get an NBA team that they just want, Yankees fans to fly out to Vegas to watch the Yankees play the Las Vegas Athletics and beat them.
Yeah,
and then gamble thousands of dollars away while they're here.
That's right. It's actually a very good business ploy. That's not bad at all.
So, but I don't meet a lot of Raiders fans besides people who moved here from California, who were Raiders fans before. So I feel like it's probably going to be the same way with A's.
I think so. I think it will be.
So people who are going to Vegas and they want to see comedy, like what are the best clubs to go to? And like for cost and all that, seating. What are some of your favorites? Do you think?
So that depends kind of. One second. So most of the clubs in Vegas, in fact, all but I think one, are on the Strip and geared towards residents. Like they'll have the same acts, every night or 2 or 3 times a week.
You're talking about resident
and
performers.
Yeah, resident performers. Excuse me. Yeah. So on the one hand, like you can always go by like who you want to see, because they're going to be there regularly usually.
So that's all kind of promoted beforehand.
But as far as clubs, yeah. So I like, personally, my favorite is probably LA Comedy Club, which is at the Strat Hotel. They're in general the most local comedian friendly, in my experience, of the clubs on the Strip. And then they have 3 shows a night, and they have some really cool residents. Tickets aren't too expensive. And one of my favorite comedians, Brett Ernst, is a resident there. And then they have all you can drink there, which is nice.
That's always nice.
It's like $25, and you can have all you can drink for the show.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But that's not the biggest. There's like a lot of the bigger chains have branches here. Like there's a Laugh Factory.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
At the Tropicana Hotel. There's a Comedy Cellar at the Rio Hotel. But I think the biggest ones are like Brad Garrett's Comedy Club at the MGM Grand. But I've never been there. So.
Those big ones. It's almost like commercial, like a Walmart. I mean, they have those people resident.
Yeah.
His question, I could understand it, was, where do y'all go to get warmed up? To where's the, it's kind of like you get. Your
so I guess because it's like they're more theater like a lot of the clubs here. They're less like intimate rooms like you might see in New York. But so I would say LA Comedy Club is one of the more like comedy club feeling ones. Wise Guys Comedy Club is the only one really off the Strip that's not in a hotel. And that just opened a couple of years ago. And that's kind of nice because it does feel more like you're in a comedy club than like a theater. They bring in a lot of comedians who do stuff like crowd work, which would be harder to do if you were at a much bigger room.
What is crowd work?
Well, like, the guy that sits up front that gets the hell beat out of him.
Yeah, exactly.
I was watching some Martin Lawrence, some old, and I just hadn't watched a bunch of them, but I was watching, like, there's a clip about 9 minutes. I was watching just random ones he did, and I was like, oh my God, I was trying not to wake up Laura. I was like cry laughing, holding my mouth, and it was just so funny, for me, comedian, I guess, I've always loved, he's not with us anymore. Thanks a lot. Phil Hartman was like, I loved him. Yes.
Well, he passed, a long time ago.
Oh, it's been a while, since his wife put him down.
He was a talk radio guy, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he had done everything like Josh talks about, and he got into it older, his brother was involved with management of musicians, and he did, in fact, I can't remember, but he did artwork for a couple of big albums back in the day, and he had this skill, man. And to me, look, I'm a little bit different. I love impressions, man. I love them so damn much. I love impressionists. I'm a sucker for them. Anybody that does a good impression, I'll die laughing.
Does Josh do any impressions?
I don't know. I don't think that's.
I don't.
No.
I do sometimes as bits. I do like purposefully really, really awful impressions.
Yeah, those are funny too. But you know what I mean. Yeah.
I know I can't do impressions at all. Like, and so it's something that I have to respect because I know that's something that I could never, ever do.
Yeah, it is. No, it's a skill set, man. And but I mean, there's different ones. But yeah, I've always, I was big on Rodney Dangerfield, and stuff that he would do. Or Dana Carvey is somebody I've always loved because his impressions. Yeah. It's another one that did a lot of impressions. And
who are your favorites, Josh?
Favorite comedians?
Yeah, who drew you
out? So I always really liked Andy Kaufman the most.
Oh wow,
he was probably my favorite to watch growing up. He obviously hasn't been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Comedian.
But yeah, I tend to like a lot of those kinds of comedians who I feel like
is that your style?
I wouldn't say Kaufman is. I wish.
Yeah, no, that's so unique, man.
Like, who would you compare yourself to?
Norm Macdonald is probably the one that I would love to be compared to.
Yeah, he is good.
Want to compare myself to him because he's, obviously a legend.
Yeah, don't be picking people that just passed away. Stop it. Stop trying to take their place.
You're next in line, man.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. What is
the world needs a new Norm, and
that's right.
That's right. Was it?
I'm here. I'm alive.
Very good.
Was it Stephen Wright? Was that his name?
Yeah, Stephen Wright.
Yeah, he was good. He was another guy who was had a very kind of like Norm Macdonald, had a very deadpan delivery on his comedy.
Yeah, he's actually my roommate's favorite comedian.
Yeah.
Stephen Wright, or one of his top comedians.
I liked him a lot when I was growing up as well too.
So nowadays, is it like I kind of seen on TV and various media outlet reports? Is it harder to do comedy now with all the kind of stuff that's offensive to everyone?
I actually feel like that probably, I don't know. It seems like a lot of comedians say it is. It's possible. Vegas is also kind of like the comedy scene here is very much people say whatever they want.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like a free.
So it could be different if I'm in LA, because I know that LA comedians come here and are just like aghast at seeing what people will say on stage.
Right.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah. Remember, you're supposed to stay here. Don't print that.
They're all clutching their pearls.
Yeah, that's right. Stop
it. My goodness.
But at the same time, I feel like, at least within comedy, it's not like people get quote unquote canceled, yeah, but it's harder to cancel like someone from stand-up comedy than from, say, acting, or music, because if they're a TV actor, all you have to do is get the studios to there's not that many studios to not want to hire them, and to feel like they might lose money if they do. But for comedy, the clubs really just care about, selling the 200, 300 seats. So there's not a ton that a boycott can do in a city of millions of people.
Yeah.
When they really only have to sell a couple hundred seats. And I've seen a good amount of actors who have controversies and then kind of go back into stand-up.
Right.
Because they're having a hard time getting movie roles. Because people don't want their very expensive movies boycotted.
Roseanne Barr,
but
right?
Clubs aren't. Yeah.
Oh, there's tons of them.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember. Who's the guy that got real popular and then he got Me Too'd? I can't remember the name of him.
Everyone.
The dark-haired guy?
Louis C.K.?
Yeah, everyone. No, it was Louis C.K. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, because he had pretty much peaked, and right then he was so hot, and then damn it, man.
Yeah, and he's an example, because I guess one way that it sucks if you are canceled is he's someone who could be releasing tons of specials on streaming services.
Right.
So not only did he lose his show, but he lost that. But at the same time, he's just recording his own specials and albums and self-releasing them. And then still touring and being very successful at touring because he's still a great comedian. People still he still has a solid fan base.
Yeah, I believe that.
So he might not like be exactly where he could have been, but at the same time, it's not like he's like never going to work again.
Yeah, it's kind of like sometimes you got to press the reset button on things.
Just like musicians now, you don't have to have a record contract or a record deal,
No,
to release your own stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just you can still do it,
Yeah.
As long as you have the drive, you can still go out and make something happen for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was another.
So I think that. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No. Go ahead, man.
No, I don't have anything interesting to say there. So.
Well, neither one of us do. No, see, I'm going to mention something. I forgot. I forgot the name of him, but he's a Chicago guy. You should. It was sports comedy coming right at you. I can't remember what the guy's name was. He's out of Chicago, and he did the best Harry Carey impression. Even Harry Carey, like the baseball announcer for the Cubs, and I can't remember his name, but
was he on SNL?
No, he was.
Okay.
No, I think his name is Dan. God dang it, I can't remember. But he did the. He hosted. No, yeah, he did. He hosted the first. He did the comedy on the first ESPY Awards, and I remember. I loved it, and he does his impressions as well were just terrific, but yeah. No.
So what are some of your favorite shows to watch that are funny?
TV shows?
Sure.
I guess I like Curb Your Enthusiasm a lot. I actually like it more than Seinfeld. I don't know if either of you ever watched that.
Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah, I have never watched it, but the people that watch it are they are loyal dogs to that show, man.
I will say it's really hard to get into because Larry David is a really hard to watch person.
He's different, man. But
and he's playing himself, which is an obnoxious, annoying stand-up comedian. Whoever around him hates. Like, that's the plot of the show is like, he just got done with Seinfeld and now he has hundreds of millions of dollars and is living in LA.
Wow.
But is still the same obnoxious person. But now everyone has to put up with him because he's rich.
Are you putting yourself on TikTok or anything?
I use Instagram mostly. I've been trying to be more active on social media, and I've been working a lot over the last year at growing the Instagram.
Yeah.
But not on TikTok yet.
Mm-hmm.
I have to humble myself and get on that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it just feels wrong.
Yeah. Hey man, you're doing good. Like I said, I have a lot of respect for you for what you're.
Thank you
for what you're doing, buddy.
I appreciate that.
And you're a good guy, and you're trying, and then that's all we can do. By the way, before I forget, because that guy's name is John Campanera. I remember it now.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's another impressionist. I'm sorry, man. I had to make it all about my comedy loves, but yeah. But what's next, man? You got anything before we shove off? Do you have anything coming up?
I host a weekly show.
No, tell us.
Noreen's Lounge every Saturday night in Las Vegas.
Okay, where's it at?
It's at Noreen's Lounge. It's on East Tropicana Avenue.
Okay.
It's just a Pittsburgh Steelers bar. It's every Saturday night. It's an open mic with also booked acts. So we book professionals from around the country if they're in town, and then it's also an open mic. And yeah, I have that. I have Aaron's show on Thursday at Hunt Ridge Tavern, which is going to be music and comedy. And as I said, Hunt Ridge Tavern in Las Vegas. If anyone's listening to this in Las Vegas,
please. That's what we said. Yeah. Please listen to us in Las Vegas. Yeah. That's what we want to do. We want to promote you and tell them how they can find you on Instagram, man.
It's at not Josh Lidawer. NOTJOSHLIDAWER.
Josh, we thank you a ton for coming on and talking with us today, man.
It's fun, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
You bet, buddy.
All right. See you soon. Thank you.
See you.
Thanks, man.